Okay. Hello, everyone. I am Christina Taylor, an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from North Canton, Ohio, and I am excited today to share the Butterfly Bliss card class, which is just all things butterflies. All the projects will have butterflies in them today. So the sets aren't named Butterfly Bliss. That's just what I called the class. So. Anyway, there's a peek at my new stamping studio. You can see the new floor over here. No more carpet. I mean, I do have a rug down around me, but the new flooring is down. I've got myself a little chair over there. So I'm just kind of settling into the space. I've put some things back. This area over here is kind of a big mess right now. But once I get it all settled, I hope to be able to do a little bit of a studio tour, kind of so you can see how I store things and what works for me. You might see it and be like, Christina, this is pure sanity. It's crazy. But things work differently for every person, and this is my craziness. So anyway, so we are going to go ahead and get started stamping today with these butterfly projects. Everybody that came to the in-person class really liked the projects. They really liked all the butterflies, the colors, and I think we're all ready for some more consistent, warmer temperatures. We will probably just go right to the 80s here in Ohio instead of having like some 70-degree, upper 60, 70-degree weather days. But we've been quite chilly. Yesterday was only in the 40s. So we're quickly approaching Easter and hoping that that spring weather arrives and sticks around for a while. But I've got the projects to share with you. We're going to talk a little bit about the things that are retiring with the last chance list, and I'll give you a peek at the new catalog, and we'll talk a little bit about that. So I'm going to turn the camera down. So hang on just a second. Let me figure out how to do this. This is like, okay, there we go. Okay. Okay, so here's a peek at the projects that we're going to be doing in today's class. And these are our current catalogs that you may or may not have, but this is what's current. Um, the the occasions catalog is ending here at the end of April, I believe. No, it actually goes through May 5th. There's a lot of things in there that are on the last chance list. Some are discounted, some are not, as well as this catalog also ends May 5th. And there's quite a few things that are on the last chance list from this catalog. So I would encourage you to go online to my online store at stampingyoucrazy.stampinup.net and click on I think if you click on shop and then go to last chance, you'll see all the items that are being offered at a discount price or that are being retired. And those, again, are items featured out of these two catalogs, as well as some online exclusives that have been around for a little while. So that is what's current. Goes down there. This is what's new. New catalog. This is my copy. I thought maybe my order of catalogs would come today, but they did not arrive. So I'm anxiously awaiting those because I know several of you have asked about them. And these catalogs are free to my club members. Anyone not in the club, if you're wanting to get a catalog, you can purchase that for $5, especially if you've not purchased in the last 6 months from me or to the year, making at least a $50 purchase. So, but that's what I do as far as my catalog distribution. If you're in a club, you can get that catalog for free. And I have a variety of different clubs. You're on my mailing list. Just watch your email and I'll send out some updates on the In Color Club, just general purchase clubs, whether we gather in person or virtually. And then different share clubs. So just watch those for those details. But I can't show you the inside of this, but there's all kinds of goodness in here. I can tell you in the new catalog, cardstock is going up. So if you need cardstock, purchase that before May 5th, it's still at our $11.50 price point. It is going up to $14 a package in the new catalog. Most everything else kind of stayed same pricing. I didn't see much increases on other things, but definitely cardstock has increased, or will increase, I should say. So this is a peek at the projects that we're doing today. These two are similar, but I've used two different colors in the designer series paper, so I did a little bit different on the inks, but same layout. And also on this one, this layout is featuring our in color designer series paper. And so in your kit, you could have any of the 5 colors. So you could have the Pretty in Pink, you could have Shy Shamrock, Petunia Pop, Peach Pie, or Summer Splash. Any of them are equally beautiful. And the one that I really love, I mean, I love this one too, but the Shy Shamrock like really pops on this layout. It's so pretty. And so you'll have a variety in your kit, and could have any one of those 5 different colors. And then we've got a butterfly card here, simple stamping, and then another one with embossed butterfly and some die cutting too. So we are going to go ahead and get started. Hey. All right. So before we get started, I do need to kind of explain something with Stampin' Up's new rewards program. So typically when I'm doing a video, you'll see my information up here with my Facebook, YouTube, my online store and everything. But you also typically will see a host code, which you then enter in order to get the card kit for free by placing at least a $50 order. So Stampin' Up! Has changed our rewards program, and now they have an individual rewards program instead of using a host code. So when you have to set up an online account with Stampin' Up! And you will earn your own individual rewards for every order that you place that's over $20. So you will no longer need to enter a host code, and you will also earn rewards. So say you place a $20 order, you're going to earn $2 in rewards that you can use on your next purchase. Those rewards do accumulate and are good for a year from the time they are issued. So you can just stack them up and then save for something like a big shopping spree if you want, or you can use them every time you place an order. You can simply redeem what you had earned on the order before. There's no limit to the amount of rewards you can earn. You could place an order every day if you wanted to and earn rewards every day. There's no limits on that, but you do need to have an online account in order to do that. If you are not online, which if you're watching this, well, it could be through a video link through an email, but if you're watching it on YouTube, then chances are you do have access as far as internet access online, but some people just don't do shopping online. So if that is you, I am more than happy to help you with your ordering process, and you can reach out to me and we can kind of work through that as far as how that will look. Stampin' Up! No longer allows their independent demonstrators to process anyone's credit cards. So you have to enter that through your online account in order to pay by credit card. So if you were purchasing through me and I'm placing the order, you would have to pay through like Cash Check, Venmo, Zelle, that type of thing. And then I would place the order for you. So more information on that to come in my email. But just know that if you see something in today's class that you're wanting to order, you can simply log into your Stampin' Up! Online account, go to my online store, log into your account and shop. I do want to remind you though, when you are shopping online, to please make sure that I am selected as your demonstrator if you choose to shop with me. Because if you had previously shopped with, say, another demonstrator and you don't select me as your demonstrator, your order processing will go under that other demonstrator. So just kind of, that's a little bit of a caveat there. That's something new. But yeah, just you have to remember to select me in order to get credit. And then I see your order come through, and I'm still working on my new rewards system and how that's going to look. So stay tuned for more details on that as well. Okay, so onto this first project, we are using a couple different sets here. And actually, these two are both retiring, so they're both on the last chance list. And this one is carrying over. So it will still be available. I've selected the I'm grateful for you greeting out of this grateful blessings. And then in the layering leaves, I've actually taken the speckled stamp background here, or not background, but little stamp that I'm going to make a background with. And then from the sketch butterflies, which we'll be using this on other projects as well, hence the butterfly name for the class. Out of this stamp set, I've chosen these two butterflies that we're going to use on our project. I'm using Flirty Flamingo ink because the template for the ones that I have here, these are more pinks, so I'm going to use the Flirty Flamingo to stamp with. And I've got some twine that we're going to use to make a little bow, and then my bow maker to be able to do that. So pretty straightforward here. I'm also going to use the Simply Scored tool. You'll see me using that throughout the projects here just to score my cardstock at 4 1/4 so that I can score it. So the supplies we have, so we've got our basic white envelope. We've got a piece of thick basic white that is 5 1/2 by 8 1/2. I've got a piece of basic white that is 3 1/2 by 4 3/4. Another piece that is 1 inch by 3 1/4. And then I've got three pieces of designer series paper that are all 3/4 of an inch by 3 inches. So we'll just have to determine which ones we want to use here. I might use those three there. Okay. And I'll just put this over here so you can kind of see the layout of the cards where we're going with this. And when I'm making like a white or vanilla card and the base of it is white or vanilla, I like to use the thick basic white or vanilla cardstock. So I'm going to score this at 4 1/4. Go ahead and fold that, flatten that with my bone folder. Okay, I'm going to do a little stamping. So my ink had got a little buggered up a little bit with some of the mixture of colors yesterday, but it will kind of dissipate and work its way in there and it'll be all good. So no worries there. So I'm just going to do 3 little speckle stamps at the top and then kind of do that same thing at the bottom in different positions. And I'm going to bring in my Stampin' Scrub. Just clean off that stamp. Okay, and my little piece of white here. I'm going to stamp up my sentiment. I'm grateful for you. And put that on the white piece. There we go. That's a little lighter than what I wanted. I should have grabbed my mat. Let me do that. Bring that in because I should know better to stamp with photopolymer on just this plain surface. I need a little bit of cushion there for that stamp. So let's give that a try. Much better. We'll keep that one. All right. So we've got that. Then I'm going to do a little stamping, put some butterflies on the inside of my card. Okay, leave that because I'm going to use it on the envelope too. And then one down here. So got a couple little butterflies. We'll go ahead and put them on the envelope too. Maybe just do this one right in the center. Okay, I'm going to clean these off. And we're done with the ink, so I'm going to go ahead and close that. All right, where's my glue at? There it is. All right, so we're going to go ahead and put some glue on that top layer. And this is cut so you've got a nice thick frame kind of around there, which is good. And then so you just need to determine which side you want to use of your butterfly paper. And I'm going to use these three. You should have ones in your kit too that would lend themselves towards the blues and the greens, and you can then kind of select how you want to put them on your project. So I'm going to flip these over and I'm gonna layer them this way. That's how I want to lay them out. So put a little glue on these. Oh, they're gonna move around on me here. Okay. All right, so then I'm gonna layer these just kind of at different angles, or not different angles, different heights. That's what I should say there. Not angles. That one up a little bit. Bring this one down. So kind of just offsetting that. This card layout, this design layout is actually in the new catalog. Super fun layout. I was like, that is wonderful for using strips of designer series paper. Of course, I didn't have all these strips this size. I had to cut them, but that's another story. So grab some dimensionals. That's usually how it is. You see a project, you're like, oh, I could use this and do this project and use up my scraps. Wait a minute, let me see which one I want to use. I'm gonna flip that. Okay. Um, but of course I didn't have that many strips, so just cut them. But it is a great use of your smaller pieces. Get all these little guys off here. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and layer that right over the designer series paper. And then bring my bow maker in. And let's grab some of this twine. This piece might work. So I'm going to make a double bow with this twine. And what I'm going to do is just have my tail on the right side come around the back of the nails, around the front and around the back again, and cross them over. And then take that little tail that I had up and over, bring it through, and I'm going to tie my bow. Okay, and I'll take those nails out. Outside. My scissors here. Okay. And there we go. We've got our a little double bow there. So it gives it just a little bit more volume with those little loops. And let me grab some glue dots to get right on the well, if I could get the little glue dot off of there, good gracious. Okay, and then I'm just going to tuck that right on the edge there. Okay, and there's our first project. So you'll do the same layout with the blues and greens designer series paper as well. All right, I'm going to clean this up and then I'll get our next project. Okay, all right, this next project, so this is the butterfly project we're going to create next. And we're using, you can see that you got that embossed butterfly and some little shimmery gems. And then we've got some die cutting inside and some stamping. So let me share with you what we're using on this project. So we've got the Moody Mauve ink, which is retiring. So that is on the last chance list. When I checked, it was currently still available. Wildflower Designs with this stamp set is retiring. However, the paper that we're using, the paper packet, is carrying over. So you'll get to like create with that one for a whole other year. But this is a great stamp set with the sentiments. I love the font. It's very delicate, but like not so much that you can't read what it says. It's just a very soft script. And then some floral images and a little background piece as well, or to stamp a background. Then I'm using the speckled dots gems. Got my little mini cutter that we're going to be cutting the designer series paper with. And then to emboss the butterfly and get it cut out, I have used the Beautiful Butterflies hybrid embossing folder. So how that works, so here's the folder. And then I've also used the Beautiful Butterflies dies. So these come together. And this die is meant to sit in the embossing folder. So you put it just like this. Then you put your cardstock over top of that, close it, and run it through the cut and emboss machine, and you will get your die cut out as a butterfly and then embossed as well. So it does double duty. When you do use that, you do need to use the Grace specialty plate. So that is something that is a must with our 3D folders and our hybrid embossing folders. So you can also use this embossing folder in and of itself without the die, and I'm going to show you something you can do with that too. So I use this big die out of the butterfly set. I'll put that back in there because I've already pre-cut that. And then I also used this little mini butterfly, which they give you two of in the set, and then the body of the butterfly too. So you've got two of these little guys, which makes for great for die cutting. It makes it a lot easier. So those are already die cut, so I'm just going to put them in there so I do not lose them. Okay. These things aside. All right, so I kind of got ahead of myself a little bit on this project, and I went ahead and stamped my grading and my little flower. So I'm a little ahead. So this one's going to go really quickly. So the your cardstock supplies, you've got a piece of Moody Mauve that's 5.5 by 8.5. We're going to score that at 4.25. Then you've got your inside layer that is 3.5 by 5. You've got a piece of early espresso that is 3 3/8 by 4.5. You can see this is where I did my die cutting out of. We're going to layer right over it, so you're not going to see that those have been die cut out of there. And then I've got another piece of basic white that is 3 1/8 by 4.25. And again, already went ahead and stamped my sentiment. So now then you have a piece of designer series paper that is 1.5 inches by 3. So when I was preparing the kits for this class, I realized I am not going to have enough cardstock to cut these in 5.5-inch strips, or enough designer series paper, 5.5. So you guessed it, we are going to cut this in half and put it on each end, and it's going to give that illusion that the band is going to go all the way through. So that's kind of a great tip. If you're short on paper, you've got a card design, but you're like, oh, I don't even have enough. You can do this and give it like a faux layer there. So this is actually for somebody else's kit. I had two little pieces because I'm telling you, I was cutting it down to just the bare of what I had. So I've got these two little pieces, and they are going to be perfect for right there. So this card I'm making is going to look just like that, but they're just going to fit right in there. Okay, so I'm going to set that aside so I don't mistakenly cut that, but that's where our cutter was coming from in this class. I just had the strips there, and the ladies just cut them in half at 1.5 inches, so then they could put them on their project. Okay, put that aside. And let's see. So I went ahead and cut and embossed the butterfly. So we have got that done. So we've got our butterfly right here. And we've also got our little early espresso butterfly for the inside and some sparkly gems. So I'm going to come in with the scoring tool and we're going to score this at 4 1/4. Okay. Eight. Go ahead and fold that. Like I said, this one's going to go together pretty easily because, well, I've already done the stamping. I was kind of a step ahead of myself and didn't realize that. Um, okay, so we're going to go ahead and start layering. That down. Okay, got our inside layer. Then we're going to layer these two. And what I'm going to do is actually put my glue on this piece because this is going to be my layer that I've got to frame with. And I don't want to put adhesive all over the white and end up having adhesive come through where my cutouts are, just for handling purposes. So I'm just going to set that up, the nice framed layer around it. Okay. And then I've got my two little pieces of designer series paper that are just going to work great. So we're just going to put some adhesive on both of those. Put this kind of like midway. And then do the same over here and just eyeballing it. So they look pretty level to me. Oops, I'm a little off camera there. I'm sorry. Oh, goodness, I need to pay attention to that. You could not see what I was doing. Okay, then I'm going to take this layer and fasten that down. I was like, didn't remember if I put that up with dimensionals or not. So then we're going to put that right over there. Look at that. See, it looks like the paper goes all the way through and it's just those two little pieces because I was really running low. So we're going to put some butterflies on this, or butterflies, good grief, that is a butterfly, Christina. We're going to put some dimensionals on there. Goodness. It's supposed to be like 75 tomorrow. I'm like so excited. Tomorrow's Good Friday. That's going to be just a beautiful day. At least that's what I'm hoping for. I think everyone here in Northeast Ohio is hoping for that. Okay, so I'm going to put my butterfly down. Just angle her on there a little bit. And I've already got the bodies die cut, so I'm going to grab one of those. Oh, there's like a little embellishment right there. Look at that. See, wait, can you see it? There, it's right there. It's right there. One of the ladies lost their embellishment yesterday. No, I need to get that off of there though. Yeah, I'm gonna put that. Now it's stuck to my finger. I think when I pulled it off, it pulled the glue dot off. Yeah, there we go. I'm just gonna go ahead and put it on there. There we go. We found it a happy home, so it's no longer floating around with other things. Okay, so I'm gonna put a little liquid adhesive right here. There we go. Don't need a lot. It's not like a huge body, that butterfly. Well, I'm just trying to get them centered there. Okay, got that in place. Then I need to put this one on too. We've already got that one die cut. Just going to put a little adhesive on that one, and we're going to put that on the inside of our card. Just kind of right there by that cluster of flowers. Now I want to put a couple more gems on. So we'll just pull, these are the kind of like they're probably a crumb cake ones. The all the mauve ones were used at class yesterday, so these will work lovely, equally well. Okay, right. So there is our card. And then I was going to share with you about the envelope. So what I chose to do on the envelope, see how it is embossed with the butterflies? Okay. So what I did was I just took the embossing folder, tucked my envelope in there with just the flap of the envelope, ran that through the embossing machine, and then it just made decoration on my envelope. So pretty there. Could even stamp a butterfly on the, well, we'll do this little flower actually, since we've got that on our card. Go ahead and put one of those on the front. So it's a little stamping on here, even though I had done all the other. I know that's such craziness. Okay, so here is our second card. What do you think? Let me know in the comments what you think of the projects as we're going along. I'd love to hear your feedback. I'm going to clean these things up and I'm going to bring out supplies for another project. Okay, here's our next project. We're going to use some very vanilla cardstock. We're going to use some Highland Heather ink, the Memento Black ink, and then we're using the beautiful butterfly stamp set. So this stamp set coordinates and has the dies and the embossing folder that go along with it that we just used in our last project. So they come together in a bundle. This bundle of products is carrying over, so you'll still be able to get the beautiful butterflies along with the embossing folder and the die cuts. If you choose to do so, they will be available after May 5th. So, I mean, they're available now though, too. Okay, so I have chosen the in case you need me, I'm here. And then we're going to use this large butterfly and this little one out of the stamp set. So the supplies we have very simple. We've got our envelope here. We've got a piece of basic or very vanilla that is a thick cardstock. So it's 5.5 by 8.5. We've got a piece of the Very Vanilla that's also thick cardstock. It's 4 by 5.25. And I've already die cut the butterfly out and put the gem on it. And we just use that second little detailed butterfly that was in the Beautiful Butterflies die set. So that is done for us. We'll quickly grab our scoring tool and score this at 4.25, particularly with the thick cardstock. You definitely want to pre-score that. It just helps with that fold. Gives you a nice crisp fold. Cut in half. Flatten that with a phone folder. And we're going to do a little stamping. So we definitely want to use our foam mat for this because this is a large butterfly stamp. We definitely want that extra cushion there to kind of get a good impression. So this stamp is larger. So what I'm going to do is take my Highland Heather ink pad and I'm going to ink this upside down. And now the ladies at class did tell me that maybe the ink pad needed to be re-energized, which I had done in the afternoon class, but in the evening class then it probably needed the same. So we're going to see how this goes. And apply some pressure there. That's pretty good. Okay. So I've stamped that lower one. Now I want to come in and stamp my sentiment before I stamp that upper one. This is just like the method to my madness. So I'm going to ink that up and stamp that just above that wing. And we're done with the memento. We're just using that for our sentiment. And then I'm going to ink this up again. I'm really brave for just having set that on my cardstock because there could be ink on the block, but I'm like living on the edge. So, okay. Yeah, I definitely have to put some more ink in that because I find that I'm going a little bit more than I should. So I'm going to turn this upside down because I want to bring this butterfly kind of flying in from the top up here. And I'll apply some pressure. Oh, I shook the table there a little bit. Sorry about that. Okay, there we go. So we've got both of our butterflies there. Gonna come in and clean that stamp off. All right, so we've got our layer stamped. We want to do a little butterfly on the inside. This little guy. Stamp that on the inside, and then we're going to do a little stamping of some butterflies on our envelope. So we'll just do a flurry of butterflies here. This, I say you can never have too many butterflies. Here we go. All right. All right, we'll go ahead and close our ink. And we're ready to layer and assemble. So on this card, I wanted to pop these up with some dimensionals so you can see the dimension right there. So gives it a little lift, and because it's a thick cardstock, it'll hold it. You won't get like kind of that droopiness. But you do want to make sure you're sufficiently using enough dimensionals so you don't get that sagginess in the center. Okay. So I think we'll be set with that amount, and I'll just get these little papers off. Well, I was trying to do too many there at once. Oh, I did get that one. Yep. Okay, there we go. We've got them all now. All right, so we're going to just put that on a card front with a nice frame around it. Okay. And then come in with our butterfly here. Put a little liquid adhesive on it. I must have my camera positioned a little differently because it's like I keep going off the screen with my hands, and I apologize for that. I'm just noticing that, and I'm like, I'm not, it's got to be the angle of my camera, I guess. Yeah, I might have moved it because look, it's like dark right here. I might have moved it to where it's getting the shadow of my shelf with the stamps on it. Okay, there is our third card. All right, so we've got this one done with these beautiful butterflies flying in and our Highland Heather. And I'm gonna clean this up and then come back with one more project for you. Okay, now where is this card at? Okay, I was like, okay, I need to actually show the card again what we're making. Okay, this is the one where in your kit you could have any one or two of five different colors. There it could be any of the two of the new in colors. So this one is pretty in pink that we've got here. On this one, we're doing a little bit with popping up on the dimensionals right here. And I think I'm going to pop these little butterflies up here too. And then I am doing the inside of this card differently than I had originally planned. So I'm going to kind of share that with you and so you can see how to lay that out. Okay, so on this card, we're using the sketched butterflies and the sketched butterflies dies. So these products are actually retiring, and this is the stamp set for anyone that was doing the my birthday card month and you sent me a birthday card. This is the stamp set that I'm giving away. I love this stamp set, particularly this little cluster of little tiny butterflies here. Plus, it's got some great sentiments in it. Anyway, I haven't forgotten about that. All the birthday cards are on my desk, and I've got to film the video, and then we're going to draw the winner for the stamp set, not of mine. I've got a new stamp set for the winner. But it is retiring. So if by chance you are the winner of it and you have a die cutting machine and you want to get the dies, grab them before they're gone because they are leaving us. Okay, so I have used these two dies out of this die set. Set this aside here. And the stamps that I've used out of here is the Wishing You a Beautiful Birthday, the little cluster of butterflies, and then You Brighten Up So Many Days. So that's what I've selected out of there to use. We're using the Labeled with Love punch. Okay, and there you can kind of see it in there, camera. This is Carrying Over. Petunia Pop, that is the ink I'm using on this one. And I've got some iridescent rhinestone gems. Okay, so our supplies, we've got our white envelope. Let's see, okay, white envelope. Oh, I actually got this one scored. So this it was a piece of Petunia Pop, and it is 5.5 by 8.5. And then you've got a piece of basic white that is 4 by 5.25. And yes, you will see the butterflies cut out of this layer for you. We're going to layer right over top of it. You've got your die cut butterflies, so the triple butterflies that are all together, and then this single little white one there too. You've got another piece of basic white that is 3.5 by 5. A piece of designer series paper that is, let's see, which one is this? I'm trying to think the size of it. It's 3.75 by 5. Then you have a longer strip that's like 2 inches. I think it's two inches by 6. This is going to be for your envelope flap. And then you should have another piece of designer series paper that's 1 inch by 3.75. Okay. So you'll have that. Now keep in mind, you do have 2 sides to each of the papers. So you choose which you want to do. I'm going to do this one on the example here. So it's already scored for us. So just going to fold it and flatten that crease with our bone folder. And we're going to go ahead and do a little stamping. So these are going to get layered together. I need to do a little stamping on this one. And where is my piece of paper here? Okay. All right, so I'm going to put these little tiny butterflies. We're just going to put them right up in the corner of our inside layer. And I'm going to put a few on the front of our envelope. Put another little one right there. Okay. Oh, I feel like that is weird with the 5. So wait, I'm going to put even one more in there. Right in there. Yeah. I mean, you can never have too many butterflies. Oh, that's not my stamping scrub. I was like gonna clean this off and it's not the chamois either. I'm like, I can't clean that off with the stamp set. Good gracious, it's been a day. Okay, so we've got that done. And then I need to stamp our sentiment for the outside. So I'm just gonna grab a piece of extra scrap cardstock and stamp on this. I think actually somebody stamped on the back side of this class. Let me look. Yeah, they did. But I'm just gonna use that because it's perfectly fine on that side. So we're gonna take the punch, flip that over and come in with our punch and get that centered. Punch that out. Like that. And then, oh, so we're gonna go ahead and do the inside layer. So on the example, what I originally designed was like a little 1/4 inch strip to come down here. And when I was cutting the designer series paper, because this is basically a 6 by 6 piece of card or a 6 by 6 piece of designer series paper. So I started with this. So I took the 2 inches off for it's like, I think it's 2.25 inches because this is 3.75. Took that off for the envelope. Then I've got 3.75 for my layer, and that left me with this strip. So I was like, why not just utilize the entire strip of designer series paper? So what I'm going to do is just put some adhesive on this, but there's about a 1/4, whoops, I'm off camera then again. There's about a 1/4 inch that is going to be too long, so we don't need to put that much glue towards the end. And I'm going to give a little bit layer of a white line there because that'll give me a nice pop against that Petunia Pop. No pun intended on that, just being funny with the words. Clear that off. So you'll have a little bit you're going to need to trim. And then you've got this nice piece. Now I'm not going to put I think I'm going to put that in there just because the layout's different. So I'm going to hold off on that stamp. And we'll go ahead and put our pieces together. So I've got this, let's shut that ink pad. I'm sure several of you are like, Christina, you need to shut that. You are going to set something in it. And you know what? You were not wrong. I probably will. Okay. Go ahead and come back in with our green glue. Tombow adhesive. I love this adhesive. If you've never tried it, it's a great adhesive. You don't need to use a lot of it and it holds really nicely. You don't get that like hardening of your card and stuff. Like if you're using, say like an Elmer's glue or craft glue, sometimes you get like a really heavy, stiff card. So I do like the Tombow adhesive. So I'm going to go ahead and put some glue on my white layer again, because this is going to be my frame. So I don't want to put it all over the designer series paper and then end up getting glue where my die cuts are at. So just put a little bit there, layer that down, get a nice layer with that designer series paper, and then put some additional adhesive on here. Put it on the front of my card. Oh, look at that. Doesn't those colors just pop, don't they? Love that. Okay, and then we're going to do some dimensionals. Let me grab those again. And I actually need some minis, so I'll do these. So I'm going to put dimensionals on the back side of these little mini butterflies. I'm just going to do it on the triple ones here, not on my other one. That's single. So I'm just putting a mini dimensional right in the center of those bodies. And then I'm actually going to cut. These mini dimensionals are already tiny as it is, but this little part of the butterfly, the little, it's like half a butterfly, so I don't want to put it in, it'll go over and you can kind of see it. Right, and then I've got to put some dimensionals on my sentiment. Let's do one right there. Okay. Whoops, I almost put that on upside down. Okay, I'm gonna put that about right there and then come in with, let me get, I angle them there. This little one, I'm just going to put on with some liquid glue. I'm not going to pop this one up because I want to put a gem on it and I don't want to make it like kind of wonky. So I'm just going to put that down with some liquid glue adhesive. Okay. Then we've got to come in and put some gems on here. So let's see. My take your pick tool. Okay. I'm going to put a large one on that little guy. And then we'll do some medium-sized ones on these. Okay. All right, so we've got those. Now we've got to do our envelope here. So let me come back with this. So I'm going to come back with my liquid adhesive. So when I'm doing an envelope flap, I like to take my adhesive and put it right up to the edge so that it's not going to get stuck in the machines. It's going to be adhered down really nicely. Okay. And then I'm going to take the designer series paper and just right up against the fold of my card. Press that down. And then I'll come in with my scissors and just trim that off. Oh. So then this is all the waste that you have from that 6x6 piece of designer series paper. So it's pretty cool. the way. Okay, and then here is, so we've got our card. It matches with the designer series paper this way. We've got our little butterflies, which match the inside. So either way, you've got cuteness. Either way, makes no difference. Okay, let me move these things out of the way, and I'll bring back in all of our projects. Leave that butterfly set in there because, that's part of the inspiration there. So you've got these two, and we do this one. Okay, we've got this one, and then of course this one. So you'll have, like I said, two of these, and then two of these, this particular design, but these will be singles. Yeah. So I hope that you enjoyed all these projects that we did today and that you're just inspired to create with butterflies and that you have enjoyed the class as much as I did creating it. So I thank you so much for joining me today. If you have any questions about the projects today or anything that I've used or all things Stampin' Up, whatever, feel free to reach out to me at stampmecrazy@sbcglobal.net. That is my email. And I appreciate your attention in today's video. Let me know which project you like the best. If you can comment, if you're signed into your YouTube account, if you can leave a comment on which one that you like the best. You are welcome to share this video and give me, if you want to give me a thumbs up. If you liked it, I would appreciate that because YouTube likes all the things like that with the algorithm and all that kind of world, which I do not understand quite much. So, okay, until next time, I'm going to let you go and just create your own paper sunshine. Take that time to have some creativity for yourself. And yeah, until next time, happy stamping. Have a wonderful, wonderful Easter. I hope it's a beautiful day for you and your family, your loved ones, your friends, whoever you're spending it with. All right, take care.